Hi, Cece. All right, we have your spread here. And so your job will be to make the connections where you can. All right, regarding what we talk about here and your current life. Just try to make the connections. And so first we're going to see when in time we are with the time card. Then we're going to see where we are, what you did with the majority of your time, one important day, another important day, your death, and the lessons learned. All right? So let's start and see where in time we're going for Cece. Where are we going? Okay, it's not going anywhere, so we are clearly hovering in a very present lifetime. So it's not this lifetime, but I want to say it is your last lifetime. So there might be a lot of connections here. This is your last lifetime or possibly two, but just keep that in mind. So first we're going to see where you were in this lifetime, and this is the island card. So the island card can mean an island like Fiji or a group of islands that, well, maybe not islands, but that appears islands, because I've even had the Netherlands come up with the island card. So what I'm getting here though is a very rich island, rich in green, like rich in nature, lots of trees, lots of trees. Oh man. Oh, okay, so I want to say I'm getting Tasmania. I'm getting Tasmania. Tasmania is over by Australia, so just keep that in mind as far as connections go. Maybe you like that area of the world. Maybe you like indigenous Australian things. So just keep that in mind as far as connections. All right, so that's really interesting. I haven't gotten that one yet. What you did here, this is the majority of your time. What you did with the majority of your time, here's the leader card. So this is telling me that you were a leader in some sense, and this can mean a lot of things. But in this instance, I'm getting a very small community feel where you are what you would, I guess back in the day, it would be a chief. But here, they're showing me a man. First of all, they're showing me a man with actually poor eyesight. Standing up, people are listening, and it's a building, more of a modern structure. So this wasn't too long ago, because even though it's your last life, people can incarnate every 200 years or every 500 years, or if they maybe just a few years after they die from their last life. So everyone's different. But what I'm seeing, the images are actually more modern, and I'm just seeing like a town hall, which is just a large building in this community that's rather small. Very small community, but you're respected and you care about all these people, and you're standing up and people are listening to you. It's your turn to speak. So you're a leader in the sense of being part of the government that's in this place, on this island. All right, so keep that in mind. Also with connections, you might be concerned with political issues in this life. That might be a thing you might like, or it might be a thing that you don't want to pay attention to because you did it in this life. So now you're taking a break from it in this life, in your current one. So that's how you can make connections. So let's move to your first important day here. And your first important day is a match made in heaven. You're getting married on this day. You're getting married, and they're also showing me that you actually marry people. You actually do marry people. It doesn't make you a minister, it just makes you someone who is capable of marrying people, and so you do that in this life. But this day in particular, it's a match made in heaven. It's your turn, and you waited a long time. This isn't a young marriage. I'm seeing a man in his 40s. I'm seeing a man, a distinguished man in his 40s. You have you have short dark hair, and you're getting grays at the temples of your head. So that's where we are. We're in your 40s, and the grays come from all the stress. It's not stressful living, but it's stress from just being in charge and making sure everyone is happy. You really want everyone happy. And so I'm seeing this distinguished man, in a sense, get married to someone basically that your soul has been waiting for, waited a long time for this person to become your perfect match, someone that meshes with your life so well. And you've known this person for years, and I almost want to say that this person is a woman who is a widow at this time. She was married before you knew her in the community, and you started to get to know her after her husband passed because you were someone that would give her great comfort with no alternative mean, like no ulterior motives. You just were someone that wanted to comfort your people, and in doing so you guys actually began having great discussions, and you found so much similarity between your lives that there was a great love that built there, and a trust that was already there, and a love that you hadn't known before. And so this is a beautiful match with beautiful positive outcomes. This is the positive or negative card, but I'm getting high positive vibes with this day. So keep that in mind in this life. If you have found someone that makes you feel that way, it could very well actually be the same soul come back, because this is a great soul union in this life. Or you may still be waiting for a reason. You may still be waiting because in this life you knew love so well that in your current life, if you haven't found it yet, it's because you're waiting to make this connection again. So let's go to the next day. This day is interesting. This is a so long farewell until we meet again card. And it's actually, it has to do with the spouse. So the relationship involved is the spouse. And the feelings, which is interesting, goes right hand in hand with the so long card, because this is a distant feeling, a removed feeling. And so what is happening here? I'm asking my guides to fill me in. I'm saying, hey, Spirit, will you tell me what this means? What happens? So, what happens? Oh. I feel like, so your spouse is out of the picture because of something. What happens? This is weird. It's like I'm not getting a death. So it's not that they died. Okay, so they were pulled away by family who went elsewhere, and it's almost like this person had a child with their former spouse, and the child gave this person an ultimatum, and the ultimatum was, hey, I'm leaving and you can either come with me and be part of my life, or I'm never coming back again. And so you had to part ways with your spouse because your spouse chose their child, which makes sense, and rightfully so. And so you had to distance yourself from your own feelings because it was such heartbreak. It was almost like you didn't see it coming. You didn't see it coming. This child is not, it's an adult child, but not quite adult. Like, the child showed a lot of childish indications in how they manipulated people, but they still manipulated people. They allowed it because this child was the only child of the former union of your spouse and her former partner. And so this child is almost very spoiled. And so you see your spouse leave, and they don't want to go, but it's almost like they know it's the right thing for them. They know it's right to go with their child. And so you find yourself distancing yourself even from the community in a way that you've never felt before, and it numbs you. It kind of numbs you. And so this starts a whole new chapter in your life of feelings you've never felt before. And so keep that in mind when you're making connections to your life in this current life, that you might have feelings where if you start feeling love towards someone or you feel connection, you might actually cut it off without any reason. You might just cut it off because you're scared of what it can mean. And you might numb yourself to feelings that you really shouldn't, because the numbing doesn't come from your current life, it comes from this life of what you had to go through. And so what happens is you actually die because of, this is the accident card. It can mean like tripping off a mountain and falling down, but not in this case. In your life, the accident occurs with, I want to say, an overdose of alcohol. I want to say you almost drink yourself to death without meaning to, because you turn to drink to get over this, which is so unlike you. And it's so unlike you, you're not a drinker. And so when you start drinking and taking this substance, you're not really aware of your own limitations, and you end up overdosing on alcohol. You become over intoxicated and you get alcohol poisoning, you drink yourself to death. And the lesson here for this life is loving others. And this can mean a few things. And the lesson you were meant to learn was to love others in a couple capacities, which you do show the love for others with your community and your spouse, but also the love for your spouse is shown in really letting her go. You let her go, it's just that you can't get over it. So you learned most of this lesson, but the fact that you couldn't move forward with your life and come to resolution over this shows that you still have a little bit of that lesson to learn in your current life. So that is probably what you're going through right now, is there may be some dissonance in your life with learning to love others in a way of loving them enough to let them go. So keep that in mind if that speaks to you. It comes from this life. All right, so there is your life. I hope you found it interesting, and thanks for letting me read you.